Well, hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I do hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video. This is a review of the cows. Had to be done. DA42 series aircraft that has actually been around for the past few months at least. The reason I'm doing a review on this now, Orbix reached out to me. They said they're having a 25% discount sale on this from the 22nd of September, which should be the day I've got this video up until the 6th of October. So that's a 2-week period of a 25% discount sale on this absolutely gorgeous looking, excellent performing aircraft. I'll get into the details of it in this video. So obviously I'm going to give you a review, how it looks externally, internally, how it handles, how it performs and how it flies. And at the end of the video I'll give you my recommendations. Keep in mind people, this is for PC Microsoft Flight Sim only at the moment, but I'll talk more about that in this video. So let's not dilly-dally, let's get on with this video. Okay, so you find me parked up at one of the bays at Hoddesdon International, of course. Now, before I talk about the modelling and that type of thing and handling, let's just give you a few details. The full price, I'm recording this part before the sale hits, which should be today, the day I have released the video, hopefully. Full price is 55 Australian dollars. About 38 US dollars, 34 euros roughly, and £29-ish as well. That's the full price. So with that 25% discount, you can knock a good few pounds or dollars or euros off that, which is fantastic when I show you what you get with this package. Now, I'm flying the DA42 VI variant here. You get two different variants, the TDI and VI variants. Now what I'll do, I'll show you on screen. With the TDI variant you get 3 different liveries. There you go, that's enough of that. And with the VI you get 6 different liveries. So there you go, 6 of them. Let's take that off screen. So you're getting quite a few different liveries. I'm flying with the red deluxe version, not Dulux. See, I said it right this time. me, my mispronunciations. Go and look at my previous 2 videos to this. Yeah, I'm flying the red deluxe version this time. And as you can see, going around externally, I do like the way some aircraft look in Flight Sim 2020. I like to go around externally to take a look at them. This has got to be amongst one of my very favourites to go around and look at externally. Look at the PBR and reflective texturing going on there. If you're a fan of external textures and modelling, you're going to absolutely love this one. Look at it. Beautiful looking. Fantastic. So a full 10 out of 10 for me on the external modelling there. And texturing and goodness knows what. Very nice. And as you'll see, a lot of these parts are animated, of course. Wonderful. Okay, that's it. That's the external modelling. Let's get internal. And there we go, we got the cockpit. We can close this canopy now. Click on that. Isn't that wonderful? So let's show you that from the external view and get back inside. Internally, lovely texturing going on with the seats and goodness knows what. If I just come forward a little bit there. There's even a flight manual for the DA42 there, should I be worried. Nice texturing going on with the seats. Reminds me of kind of like a little sports aircraft, doesn't it? Very plush, very luxurious looking aircraft. And of course, it's got the G1000s. What a bonus, and I'll be referring to these editions, let's put that back on nav, throughout this video. As you know, with my Back to Basics series, I really enjoy using the G1000s. If you're going for long cross-country flights, which is what this aircraft was designed to do, you're gonna find a lot. These are very useful indeed. A lot of the buttons work, so even a lot of the circuit breakers, which is great to see. Not sure if absolutely every single one do. They seem to all light up. There are a couple of buttons which don't work. If I come on a central panel here, these buttons, but I don't think there's a use for them in the sim itself. That's why these won't work. Obviously your autopilots, distant measuring equipment, you see PA speaker, there's no need for that. I guess they could have done, but there's just no use for them in this specific aircraft, I would have thought. But the rest do, and the majority of buttons and switches, including the circuit breakers, are all usable, which is always nice to see, isn't it? So there you go. That's a quick view of the external and internal modelling. Absolutely brilliant. Some of the best I've actually seen, I've got to say, in an aircraft, which is always good to see. Let's now power this thing up and we'll go for a taxi and quick flight. Okay, so I'm just quick starting the aircraft up and letting you listen to the sounds. Don't worry about the warnings, I have my throttle up there. Turn the sounds in the sim up just so listen to that roar. Really does roar along this engine. It's brilliant sounds, I've got to say. Now, I do have my Toby eye tracker. Look at the views you're getting out of the windows as well. It's got it all, this, isn't it? Really does have it all, this aircraft. So there we go. Okay, let's just bring that throttle back. We'll release the parking brake. And we'll go for a quick taxi. We need to taxi to our... We'll taxi to our right. Now, tiny bit of throttle. Now, I believe, looking at other reviews that are out currently for this aircraft, doesn't quite taxi as realistically as the real thing. You would have to use, apparently, a lot of differential braking when flying the sort of real DA42. I don't find it so much in this case. You just got to watch that throttle. You want it on maybe 3% throttle just to taxi along there, because it will thunder along and get away from you if you're not careful. But yeah, no issues with it taxiing. Just turn on my Toby again there. Oh no, man. The views with those textures on that wing, it's just wonderful. That is just beautiful. Oops, let's just pay attention to what I'm doing with the taxi. And then you've got your G1000s below. We'll set them up in a moment. We'll just go for a quick flight test here, people. Hopefully I've got the sound settings right so you can hear what's going on, but it's not overbearing, shall we say. I don't want to drown out my terrible voice. It might be a good thing if I drown out my voice, eh? Right, let's just come to our left here and we'll stick on the parking brake. I'll give you more of a taster of those sounds once we're on the runway. Bring back that throttle, it just wants to thunder along. There you go, just let it come to a stop. So my eye tracking off for a moment. There. Parking brake on. Listen to this. Oh, the roar of it. The sound set on this is one of the sellers for me. Beautiful. Love that. Okay, let's just come down to this G1000, press my B key to make sure that everything's fine. Just set an autopilot altitude. Of course, G1000s, you can do all this jazz if I wanted. I don't have a route set up, but I can do a route from scratch. Link to that video down below, how to set a flight route up from scratch on a G1000. You can do all that. I won't do it for this video. I'll just bug up for now using flow, just to get my heading bug aligned. Throttle up, release the parking brake. And off we go. Let's see what happens here. Listen to the sounds of that engine. There we go. actually, I want to show you the landing gear raising, so I might just turn off eye tracking just for a moment. I do generally fly with eye tracking on, it's just when I'm showing you things around the aircraft. It's just easier. Let's turn it off for a moment. Let's take off. Positive rate of climb. Easy up. There you go, back wheels first. Wonderful animation. Beauty of an aircraft, isn't it? Let's get back in the cockpit. Let's hand fly this for a good part for most of this course. Just going to bring that throttle ball. It's about 85% now. That's perfect. I found to get this aircraft nicely trimmed out and in a cruise profile. So I'm just trimming down a little bit there. Maybe bring that throttle back just a wee bit more. Got my flaps up. There's two stages of flaps. You've got approach flaps and landing flaps. I don't have flaps employed at the moment. It's just warning me that I'm 500 feet above the ground, but that's okay. That's where I want to be for the moment. Hand fly this. Lovely to fly. Nice and smooth. Trimming, you do have to be aware of that. You might have to trim a little bit more vigorously than you would in other aircraft to get it to level flight. There you go, I'm roughly getting there now, aren't I? And adjust your throttle as well, and you should be golden. There you go, and I can just find that trim up a little bit more. I've got two sets of trims, one on my XPC yoke for a more vigorous trim, and I'm using my multi-panel trim wheel just to fine-tune it, and it all works wonderfully that way. There we go. And we'll get past the landmarks of London. One of the other sellers of this series of aircraft, for both of them in fact, is the views you're getting out your window. Particularly looking to your left there, looking ahead. It's quite a unique view that you get from this aircraft. Sorry, I shouldn't move my head around too much, it can be disorientated if you don't use track IR. Let's just poke my head out the window there. Wonderful. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. Some autopilot shenanigans. Autopilot on. And where's heading mode? Heading select. There we go. Just put my heading back to where... Oops. Got it in the wrong one on my multi-panel. There we go. Just turn it this way a little bit. And we'll just go in heading select just for a while. 2,000 feet. No. 1,200. 1,300 will be fine. It's fine. Not too worried about that. So yeah, you can do all that shenanigans with the autopilot. Could use my multi-panel for that part, but I just wanted to show you. As you can see, you can cruise around 150 knots in this VI variant. May want to bring that throttle back. I've got it 75%. Bring it back a little bit more so I don't go into overspeed. If you want to keep pace with something like the Cessna 182, you can pretty much do it in this aircraft. Got to get that Tolby eye tracking back on just so I get views of London. So there you go. What I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to take autopilot off. Yeah, I know. Bring that throttle back to about 50% because I'm going to start to try and configure myself now, turn back towards London City, and I want to get myself to around 130 knots so I can bring the landing gear down, which will take me then into around flap speed, as I'll show you. It's got a wide turning banking angle, just keep that in mind. I am using my XPC yoke. This is a throttle and stick aircraft, so you may be best using something like a HOTAS, although it works well with my yoke system as well, I've got to say. Having no issues with the yoke system. Right, let me get myself straightened up here, get myself back to straight and level. Let's trim up a little bit, might need to trim down a little bit now, just so I get myself nice and straight and level. Let that speed drop, bring back my throttle. I'm going to bring it back to 40%ish. Got to trim up a little bit now because that's going to affect the angle of the pitch. And there we go, I just let that speed come down. Get it, like I say, to around 130ish, and then I can put my gear down. It's getting there. Any time now, in fact, it's fine for your gear. Yeah, now we get 134, we're getting there. London City Airport ahead of us. Feels fantastic to fly. Beautiful to look around. Especially we got eye tracking in VR. I can imagine this will be next level. Wonderful. Let me just concentrate on what I'm doing here, people. Put my gear down now, just in case I forget. Oh, show you that externally. Zoom out a little bit there. There we go. Get back inside now because that's created drag and it's affected the angle of my aircraft pitch again. So I'm just trimming up. There we go. And that's going to get me down to around flap speed here, which is nice. So I'm pretty much configured for a landing now. Not quite. I will put one stage of flaps in. That's the approach flaps, they call it, in this aircraft. Just trim up a little bit more just to compensate for that loss of speed. Of airspeed, that is. Trim up a little bit more there. There we go, just use my XPC trim, it's a little bit more vigorous. And yeah, we're nicely configured. And soon I'll stick it into the landing flaps. Just going to watch my throttle now because I don't want to slow down too much, so push that up a little bit. It's pretty much hands-on when you're coming into land, but not too difficult. Hopefully I don't make a pig's ear off this. And you know what? Landing flaps. That's going to slow me down a little bit more. As you can see, full flaps now, creating lots of drag for the aircraft. So let me just configure the aircraft where I've got a nice gradual glide slope towards that runway, which is around about there. I'll control the rest now with my throttle. So my descent, pull it back if I need to descend. Forward if I need to climb a little bit. Or I need to decrease my rate of descent. Let me just line up with that runway. I seem to be doing a lot of diagonal landings these days. Come to my right a little bit. Full flaps, gear down.
500.
Wonderful feeling aircraft, I've got to say. It's filling a hole in my hangar that wasn't filled. Now this is brilliant. So let me just full flaps, just keep an eye. I want to land just around on the runway numbers, which will be around there. Still a little bit diagonal there, don't like that. Never mind, I'll correct when I'm coming down to land. Bit more of a decrease in the throttle there. And even a smaller runway like this is no problem for this type of aircraft. Yeah, you see, diagonal landing. Never mind. And there you go. Just try and get this nice and smooth. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. I've only flown this aircraft a handful of times now. Can I make that? Oh, probably can, in fact. Yeah, no problem. Bring up my flaps. And I'll park myself in one of these bays down here somewhere. How are we doing? We're doing fine. This one looks ideal, doesn't it? Don't have any throttle. I'm just letting it go on its own momentum now, the aircraft. So we'll park up and then I'll give you my conclusion and recommendations for this aircraft. That was wonderful. I've really enjoyed this and I'll talk more about that in the conclusion. Let me just stop there. Put on the parking brake. Okay, let me take you to my conclusion and recommendations. Okay, so conclusions and recommendations. Look chaps, you've got that 25% discount window open for a couple of weeks at the time of me dropping this video. Take advantage of it. Go for this one. I mentioned before it filled a gap for me in my aircraft hangar, shall we say, my huge aircraft hangar at this point. Various different aircraft, Cessna 182, Black Square 8, TBM 850, Comanche, amongst other high fidelity aircraft. Wanted something with something similar to the G1000s, you know, the Vision Jet as well, of course. Wanted something with the G1000s that was a little bit more powerful than the Cessna 172, about the same power as the Cessna 182, sporty looking aircraft. Just felt a need for that, and hey, voila, this aircraft has filled that need. I showed you a little bit of stuff with the G1000s there. Go and look at my Back to Basics series. I'll link that down in the description as well. So much you can do with these, so much to discover. That field of view, that point of view you get when looking out. Let's turn on Toby again. Looking out these cockpit windows. If you've got eye tracking on VR, even if you don't, let's turn that off. And you're just using your hat switch to look around, you're gonna fall in love with the views this gives you out the window, the sound set. So much praise I can give to this aircraft, so much praise I am giving it. I'm going to be flying this one a lot on group flights. I really want to do a group flight where I get to fly this aircraft now. I'm in love with it, and that's my recommendation. Go out and buy it. Do go and see my affiliate link down below. Give it a visit down below in the description. Go and use that if you fancy this. PC for the moment. I've no doubt this aircraft will find its way to Xbox as well. No doubt, in fact, that most aircraft are going to be compatible with the upcoming Flight Sim 2024. If they make changes to this aircraft for Flight Sim 2024 compatibility, that will be the icing on the cake. But we've got a couple of months till we're there anyway. So highly recommended, people. Go out and get it. Give this video a like if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I'll be seeing you soon.